In this video, Reverend Dr. Dikki Jo Mullen discusses Ouija, the talking board. She will overview the history of Ouija and uses of the board in contemporary society. This video was created, directed, and presented by Reverend Dikki Jo Mullen.
This is Reverend Dr. Dikki Jo Mullen, and we're going to meet a new friend today in our video, Ouija, the amazing oracle. Called the weird and wonderful, Ouija speaks. There are many, many myths and mysteries around these talking boards. Messages from the world beyond this one are endlessly intriguing. From the spirit world, the afterlife, there's something tantalizing and irresistible. Methods to acquire clear communication from the spirit realm have been sought by the living since earliest times, as there's something out there to help us. There's a variety of different oracles employed to seek messages from peace and love from departed ones, from the angels, from other supernatural beings who might know more than the rest of us do. The Ouija, pronounced either W-E-E-G-E, Ouija, or Ouija, is a talking board that might be among the most controversial. Maybe that's because it can be consulted by anyone at any time. Don't have to be a trained medium or have any special talent required to operate the Ouija board. Some professional psychics discourage its use. I don't know if that's the reason why. And some critics claim that Ouija and its companion boards, there are different designs of boards that are used in the same way, are the most sinister of games. They've been called evil gateways, inviting lies and the entry of demonic forces. Staunch proponents and defenders, of which I am one, affirm that this is all nonsense and the oracle is no more dangerous than a telephone, which can also be misused, by the way. It brings contacts with accurate information and comforting messages from loving spirits and the divine entities around us. A Ouija, or talking board, is a message board with a movable pointer. We have one right here, and also another one over here, a different style. And the movable pointer will go around the board, which is decorated with the letters of the alphabet, the numbers 0 through 9, of which all the addresses and numbers of the world can be derived. The words yes and no, hello and goodbye are generally there, as well as some mystical illustrations. The board is balanced on the laps of two people, a lady and a gentleman preferred, who face each other with knees touching gently while they ask questions or make requests. Soon the pointer will invariably begin to move, and it will spell out a message. It might be a single word. It might be a long message. A single inquirer can work the board too. I spoke to it for hours and hours growing up. A single inquirer places the fingers around the full end near the heart, and working with someone else, the fingers will go on either side with one partner on either side of the board. There's a small nail, this Ouija seems to have left his in the box, that's usually put through the middle here, and it can tremble and also show energy coming through, although it's possible to work the board without that. And the pointers range from an inverted wine glass on a hand-drawn message board. We can take just a large piece of poster board and put the letters of the alphabet, the numbers on that, and use that as a makeshift board, or have a more conventional and beautifully made one. There actually are a number of styles. There's one called an angel board that has angelic forces around it, and the illustrations represent the spirits that might come in. There's a variety of contraptions used for the little pointer table. Planchette is a French word. They're called planchettes. It means little plank or little board. It's essentially a tiny table with some feet on it. That's the ideal planchette that comes with the Ouija board. Sometimes there are elaborate creations that have tiny wheels that have been used too. The questioners will rest the fingertips gently on the planchette and then voice questions or concerns and wait for the device to move. It's usually does, and it'll bring quite amazing messages that seem to be true. Critics say the movement is merely unconscious movements created by those touching the board, and that it's merely a vehicle for the power of suggestion. You'll have to decide for yourself, but very, very often accurate information comes through. How is it possible to explain why and how so much of the information that comes through in a Ouija session is material that the sitters, the name given to those doing the session, could not possibly have ever known? This mystique is part of Ouija's perennial appeal. No one can trace quite where or when the talking boards first appeared, or even the source of the name, Ouija. In metaphysical references, there are many mentions of Ouija's ancestral past. From the Encyclopedia of Psychic Sciences comes this claim. It was an invention that's very old. It was in use during the days of Pythagoras, about 540 BC. According to a French historical account of the philosopher's life, Pythagoras was supposed to have had a sect that had circles, we'd call them seances today, at which a mystical table would move around on wheels pointing towards signs which guided the famous philosopher and his pupil, Philoas, in interpreting for an audience in the room revelations from the unseen world. Other authors attribute Ouija's origins to China, Greece, Rome, a 13th century Tartar among the Mongols, Egypt, and other interesting and remote cultures. There's even a claim that a well-known French medium, a Madame Planchette, we've never been able to find her though, invented the talking board. None of this exotic background has ever been substantiated. No early boards were ever unearthed in archaeological sites or mentioned in early texts. Automatic writing, which is the closest thing to Ouija, was practiced in China, and it may have been an ancient world activity that links to the talking board phenomena. Ouija is a true, clever, and dualistic Gemini item. It was born in its modern form on May 28th of 1890. That's the day its patent was applied for by two businessmen, Elijah Bond and Charles Kennard. Kennard claimed the name Ouija was an ancient Egyptian word meaning good luck. We've never been able to corroborate this either. The board grew out of parlor games back before people had televisions and computers that appealed to many who were interested in spiritualism during the 19th century, the 1800s. Kennard spent his life trying to prove that he invented the Ouija, but in 1901, an employee of his, William Fuld of Baltimore, Maryland, took over production. William Fuld's name is on the first Ouija board my family had that goes way back to the turn of the century because we practice spiritualism as a family. Fuld claimed that the name was a combination of the French word oui, or yes, with the German word ja, also meaning yes, and that the board meant yes, yes. Fuld reinvented the whole history of Ouija and claimed credit for its creation himself. Competitors flooded the market, and in the early 20th century, the late 19th century, Swami, Angel, Genie, and Spook boards appeared. The popularity of Ouija by any other name skyrocketed. adopted during the early years of the 20th century. It combined with a widespread belief in spiritualism with a yearning people had to contact their deceased loved ones who vanished during the First World War. Fald's sales skill fueled Ouija's success. He told of how the board knows all the answers and gave him all of his best ideas. In 1927, Fald died suddenly. Some said it was an accidental fall. Others said it was a murder because he was engaged in several bitter lawsuits with his competitors. And they also may have made him commit suicide. Who's to know? But there's a lot of power that is around the Ouija board. This mysterious end of William Fald enhanced Ouija's success and allure, and the game became ever more popular. It's earned millions and millions of dollars for his heirs. They sold the patent in 1966 to Parker Brothers, and Parker Brothers is the name on most of the commercially produced talking boards today. It seems to bring everyone who associates with it more good luck than bad. The Ouija board is a bestseller among the world of games today. As a longtime fan and enthusiast of Ouija, a technique I've found that works very well to have a good experience is to light a white candle to create a tranquil, positive, upbeat atmosphere with people in a positive state of mind. Speak aloud, ask that the highest and the best be allowed to enter 3 times. We ask that the highest and the best be allowed to enter. We ask that the highest and the best be allowed to enter. Next, sincerely and solemnly sit, either alone or with a partner, and ask a single question at a time. Wait for the pointer to spell out an answer. It can be helpful to have an assistant note the letters and numbers that appear, and Ouija will answer. Examples of some positive moves might be, should I buy this new house? Should I take a vacation in Europe this year? Should I adopt a new pet? And see what the answers, and then after an answer comes, it's all right to say why, or can you show us some extra information? Simple yes and no questions are good as a beginner. And as one holds the planchette with fingers there, it's easy to feel when the energy comes and goes. When it's over, it's over. Thank the Ouija for being there, and release it with love to its higher good. That will prevent any errant spirits from hanging around the house or the board. It does seem to be a vortex of power, a real and genuine way to communicate with higher consciousness and the world beyond. This is Reverend Dr. Dikki Jo Mullen introducing you to the Ouija board and encouraging you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I started to say Ouija channel. I think Ouija was talking to me, our YouTube channel, for future videos.